This is Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer Newsletter, and you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com.
All right, we're back here once again at In Your Head. Internet icon Jackie Jones, my right-hand man.
1-inch biceps.
And now we're joined by the man who I'm gonna throw down with in Warwick, Rhode Island, with thumb wrestling. We have Daniel Puder on the line.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on tonight.
Thank you for coming on. It's very cool. And Saturday, Warwick, Rhode Island, New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame and Fan Fest 4. You're going to be there. You can get all your ticket information at newenglandfanfest.com. And, so you're going to be there. Do you enjoy coming to these shows and, seeing all the wrestlers from different eras and meeting, all the fans?
I absolutely love it. If it wasn't for, fans and people coming out to stuff like this, watching TV, if it was when I was, MMA fighting or pro wrestling, we wouldn't have had a job. And it's just awesome to see when somebody gets passionate about something, whether wrestling or another sport, even though wrestling, the focus here. And if you guys aren't passionate about it, I'm going to have to whoop both of you guys. But I can tell you are, so don't worry about it. Then I love coming out. I love having fun, and it'll be a great time.
Mm-hmm. You know that crying wrestling fan? I'm more passionate about it than that guy.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Brag about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just double checking.
He's the interest of balling wrestling fan. That guy's I say he's got a little bit.
That sounds great.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of an ego. The crying wrestling fan, I have to say. We met him a few times.
Mm-hmm.
He's cool.
I saw him at a Steak and Shake, and he's like, "Don't you know who the F I am? I'm the crying wrestling fan."
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Did you still have a passion to do in-ring wrestling? Are you involved in wrestling still?
I'm going to do some shows next year. It's a new promotion I launched through my charity, so I'm not going to announce it until I announce it, but I can announce it to you guys when I announce it. Mm-hmm. But we're going to do stuff the first one's going to be in South Florida. So it's going to be pretty awesome, and I can't wait to get back in the ring and have some fun.
Yeah. Now, when you were in WWE, and they had the $1 million Tough Enough as it was billed as, do you feel that moniker, that name, was misleading?
Misleading. Well, no, the name wasn't misleading. It was the actions upon some individuals that misled the people.
Mm-hmm. Now, would you like to explain that?
Well, if you tell somebody like myself, which I knew the contract was the contract, right? But if you tell the general public that this is a big competition to get ratings, and then you lie to the public because you offer that athlete, which was me, instead of $250,000 a year for 4-year deal, which is guaranteed 1 year, you offer $50,000 for the second year. You're basically backing out of your commitment to the fan base and the public. So, personally, I knew what was going on. But if you want to lie to people, that's their decision. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about WWE lying to you?
Yeah, well, for me, if it's billed as $1 million, obviously, like if they have a battle royal and the other winner is going to get $1 million, that's completely different than what's billed as like a reality competition where, the winner is supposed to receive $1 million. And for yourself, you said, you knew what was going to happen. You knew that's how it was going to be. But did you look at it more of like, it's not necessarily about the money. Obviously, you want, money. But it's like this is a step in the door to WWE, which I could potentially make more money and become a big star, being a WWE superstar.
Yeah, so, I thought about it, and I sat down with a couple of my mentors at the time, and I talked to Dave Meltzer, which is a personal friend of mine, and he's been one of my mentors since I was 16. And the challenge is I like to be treated with respect. So if I'm going in there doing a job that I'm told I'm going to do. It's like if you go and do your job, and then you get a job, and you go there every single day, and you perform exactly how they want you to perform. And then after the first year, instead of making $100,000, they're going to tell you, hey, you're going to make $30,000.
Yeah.
There's more potentially. But if somebody came to you and offered you, and that's the only reason I didn't stay, is if I was to pay $50,000 in the beginning and $50,000 in the second year and $50,000 in the third year, I understand what I'm getting myself into. But if somebody deliberately doesn't want to build me, and that told me that they didn't have, they either A, didn't have future plans, or B, they just wanted to mess with me. And I'm not in the business to be messed with. I'm in the business to perform and have fun and enjoy the sport. Mm-hmm. So that was my challenge on my side. How did you feel if you got a job and then your boss did that to you?
Well, that would be un-American, I would say. I mean, if you're promised so much money, that's what you deserve.
So I just it wasn't that they promised me in the contract, but give me a 1-year deal for $250,000, and then offer me something at the end of the year. But don't build it up to be, $1 million tough enough, and then try to decrease it because you want to do whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting topic that, that's the deal.
Yeah. Now, you said, was someone was it a particular person, do you think, was trying to mess with you in the company?
I have no clue.
Or was it itself?
I had a couple people that threatened to beat me up based upon I wouldn't drink with them or party with them. Mm-hmm. And it was a very unique atmosphere. I was used to the fighting world, which we take care of each other. Mm-hmm. MMA fighters, we build each other because we're our training partners. If you can't build each other, you can't depend on each other, you're going to get seriously hurt. And it's the same thing with pro wrestling. But it's a different world where some people, they act interesting and unique. And, I love it, but at the same time, there's some challenges in the world. And if they were to fix some of them, it would be awesome.
Yeah. Now, are you guy just doesn't drink at all, or just it wasn't, at the time you just didn't want to go out and drink? Dave Meltzer gave me an obituary book of, I think it was like 12 wrestlers that he did stories on. Yeah.
And I basically sat down with him before I went off, and I said,
I believe it's called.
Why are all these guys, what's going on? And he's like, he goes, I've seen it firsthand. My friends have died. They start drinking, they get highs and lows, and they start doing drugs or whatever else, and a lot of guys, are having challenges with family and everything else, and so I just committed myself at that point that I would, while I was doing pro sports, I wouldn't go out and drink or do drugs, and it was a very simple, fine line.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of stories, where people talking about like the Hardy Boys, they didn't drink at all before they got into wrestling, and then part of wrestling was, they talk about it kind of fondly, but if you think about it, it's like, they are being, however they would like that's their own prerogative, but they are being like forced to drink and do these things that they might not might not want to do. You'd think if that wasn't your thing, they would just say, well, that's cool. You don't. But who do you want to say who actually threatened to beat you up?
Nobody beat me up. They just threatened to beat me up.
Yeah, I said who threatened to beat you up? Did you want to say their name?
Well, one guy is Bill DeMont, which we actually became friends later.
Okay.
But he was trying to test me, and got in my face a couple times. It was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. We've had Bill on several times. I'm personally a fan of Bill. Now, when someone like that threatens to beat you up, obviously...
Say that one more time?
Now, someone in wrestling threatens to beat you up, and you have, legit background in fighting, so it's going to be different for you because that threat might not really hold water that they're actually going to beat you up. But at the same time, you still have a feeling like, well, if I don't do this, perhaps, it's going to be bad for my career.
Yeah, and I'm really, Al Snow said one thing to me when I was in training. He goes, it's better to be respected than liked and not respected. And the one thing I stuck to was I stuck to my morals and values. And so at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't like that based upon that, they have to have a drinking buddy or whatever else, if you look at why people do what they do, it's pretty sad that, somebody's got to actually go and threaten somebody to, drink or do something that they don't want to do based upon what they believe in. And so if a company okays that and it is what it is, then look how many guys die in the pro wrestling world, or how many guys are alcoholics or drug addicts based upon, the pure influence of negative behavior.
Yeah, you said, Dave Meltzer is a mentor of yours. How did that come about? Were you just a the newsletter, or personally?
Yeah, so I walked into his house when I was like 16 or 17 years old with a guy named Frank Shamrock. And Frank was really good friends with him, and so Dave and I have just, we built a relationship over the years, and it's been pretty awesome to be able to get to know him and spend a lot of time with him. And when I was training WWE, I was talking to him anywhere from 30 minutes to like 2-3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And he was helping coach me on scripts and how I should wear, what I should do, and he's a smart guy. I did very well in Tough Enough based upon I had a good mentor in my life.
Now,
So I really appreciate him.
Now, if somebody like a Bill DeMott or another wrestler would find out, I don't know if you talked about that openly at the time, that Dave Meltzer was a friend of yours or whatnot. Now, how would they treat you based on that knowledge?
I don't think they would have liked it personally, because it's funny how WWE works with Dave. But at the end of the day, he's a solid stand-up guy, and he was there to, he wants to build the business. Of course, he wants the business to do better, because his business will do better based on wrestling doing better. So if he doesn't build it, he doesn't report it right. He's from what I've seen, he's one of the most he's been around for 30, 40 years in the pro wrestling world. So he's one of the older guys that's really accurate, which is great.
Does he have any input or advice for you when you this new promotion you're on?
Does he have any influence or advice on what?
On this new promotion you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So I've been picking his brain. We haven't launched yet. Next month we have meetings to finalize it and put it together. But it's going to be it's probably going to be live streamed, and he's going to definitely help me out with any advice I need, or who we want to put on the card, or storylines, that sort of thing. So we're gonna have some fun with it.
Now, take back to Tough Enough. Very infamous thing happens on SmackDown with you and Kurt Angle, and you want to talk to us how that came about and what the reaction was immediately afterwards.
Yeah, I didn't know what, every single day we didn't know what we were going to do. So it was interesting that I knew who Kurt was. I actually trained with a guy named Danny Shade, which was he wrestled Kurt Angle in the '96 Olympics.
Uh-huh.
And so it was interesting just to be able to understand how good he was going to be. And so we jumped in the ring and we did this. We ran sprints, ate pasta, and drank milk. Ran more liners. Went out to the ring. Did an up-down competition. I was doing them perfect. I was in the best shape of all those guys. I wasn't the biggest. I wasn't the strongest. But I'll tell you, I won the 2-mile run every single day, or whatever we did, the 1 to 2 mile run. I forget what it was. I won it every single day. I busted my ass harder than any of the guys did in practice. I did not complain one time. I gave it my heart, and so when I got in the ring, he basically threw me out because he said, somebody said get the blonde guy out from the back, so they took me out. Chris Naraki was still in there. He rolled up Chris, but he knew that I was supposed to be the one that won. So he said, anybody else? I raised my hand, got in. Figured I'd wrestle him. Had no expectations when I got in, and then from there, I just caught a key lock, and I was like, hey, I'm going to use this. And I pulled him and tried to tear it off.
So when you have that on him, is he saying anything to you?
No. He was squirming like a little baby.
What could you see the ref, and was he saying anything, or did he seem,
Nope.
on edge?
No, ref didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Ref didn't. I don't think they knew. I think they figured that Kurt would just come in and take me out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty interesting.
So afterwards, when you go backstage, like as soon as you walk back there, did people run up, and what's going on back there? There's a lot of commotion.
You know what? People still didn't understand what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just really interesting to be able to see, over the next couple of days, once it went on TV and went viral, then it was a shock to everybody.
Yeah. Did the people treat you differently after it went online and everyone was talking about it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, during the Tori Wilson sex test, that one day we did that whole thing, the kissing thing with Moolah and May and all that. And Dawn Marie came over to me and like licked my face. It was just interesting to be able to see how like the camera guys would bend against the sound guys every week on me, and it was awesome just to see. The production side of it was great, but the back, not too many wrestlers said much.
Mm-hmm. Now, Kurt's always, and this was so many years later, but he still mentions, trying every 4 years talks about going back to the Olympics and possibly going to MMA or UFC. And do you think he'll ever do these things? And if he did, do you think he'd have a good shot?
No, he wouldn't have a good shot whatsoever. Number one, he wouldn't be able to pass a drug test.
Uh-huh.
Number two, he's an old man now. And number three, I went to Dana and we tried to put it together, and Kurt chickened out. And so at the end of the day, Kurt, I've always said this, Kurt's that guy that he's all-American. He drank his milk, ate his Wheaties, and married the girl next door. But the problem was he married a girl and he lived next to a strip club, and that's how it works, and he went down the tube because he started doing other things and getting off track with his life and being a horrible role model for kids because he's doing a bunch of drugs and trying to, serve himself and his ego.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty.
I was just saying in a way is that like what you were warned about. This is a guy that's got all these things going for him, but this is what can happen to him, if he goes down this other road and starts doing these things.
Correct, and that's the harsh part, right? I mean, you gotta go into a sport and build each other and help each other, but at the end of the day, to tear people down and hurt people in an industry, the industry is not going to last. I mean, you can see the guys back in the old days. They used to Steamboat and Flair, and these guys used to have really, really long matches, and they bust their butt. And today, these guys are all, 4 times the size, but they have 7-10-minute matches, on average, and they're broken and beat up and injured within anywhere from months to a couple of years. So, something it's not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to hold up forever.
Yeah. Do you keep up with a lot of the guys from the $1 Million Tough Enough?
I don't. I haven't talked to them in a while.
Mm.
I mean, I run the charity now around the country, and I see a few guys here and there in the pro wrestling world, the MMA world. couple guys I'm still good friends with. I talk to Al Snow every couple of years. I text him, or I was actually texting Bill DeMont probably about 6 months ago. I was out in LA, but not much.
No, how much interaction did you have with Kurt Angle after the incident?
Hardly any. He always stayed in his own room and stayed away from everybody else, so it was just really interesting to see.
Yeah.
But at the end, when I won Tough Enough, he came up and congratulated me, so that was pretty interesting.
Now, how serious was Dana about, putting that match together?
I think he was pretty serious at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. The challenge is number one, can he pass a drug test? And number two, he said some ridiculous amount, that he wanted to get paid. And I would have whooped his ass within a minute or two, So I even told him, hey, I'll put up everything that I'm going to make off of everything you're going to make.
Uh-huh.
Loser leaves with nothing.
Yeah.
And of course he wouldn't do that because he'd get into a fight, get whooped, and then at the end of the day he would have nothing.
Now, to play devil's advocate there, could you see his side where he would say, I actually have more to lose than you because he is Olympic gold medalist, he has established wrestling character, you yourself had just won Tough Enough, but you weren't, a main star in a televised company. So could you see his side where he would say, well, if I lose this match, I could actually hurt my, career right now. And if you win, you gain all this stuff. So do you think that could be involved anyway?
Totally. But, if he's getting off his high horse and saying, I could beat Puder in a real fight, show us. Don't just talk, because talk is cheap. And you guys see that from everybody from politicians, CEOs, to athletes, So, why even talk smack, if you're not going to follow through and you're going to wuss out of everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wasn't disagreeing with you because we do have, it is always fun whenever Kurt talks about going back to MMA or the Olympics. And it comes up, every time. But,
that's the problem now.
Did he ever do interviews where he talked about that and said, he could beat you in a real fight?
Yeah, I've heard him on Bubba Love Sponge and a couple other things,
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, he's full of talk and nothing else.
Do you think you'd be more willing to take him on if he was still in his prime? Do you think you would challenge him as quick?
Yeah, of course I would, because with Danny, how good Kurt is. Kurt's a wrestler, he's not a fighter. And I kick him, knee him, punch him, or elbow him, or slam his face with the knee or something like that. He's gonna get stunned. You're not gonna know what to do. So it's a different sport. I just got whooped yesterday in basketball. One of the guys that has a full ride college scholarship for basketball. So. You can't just walk into a sport and take somebody on that knows what he's doing and that's been training for years. If you're from another sport, it doesn't work.
Did you have any interaction with Vince McMahon?
Yeah, he was always nice to my face. So, it was a good deal.
Somebody in the chat wants to know: did you work a tough man boxing match with The Miz?
Yeah. Did I? What do you mean? Did I work it?
Well, did you have a match? Did you have a match with him?
Yeah, I did.
Did that end in a draw? Was he tougher than you thought, The Miz?
It was 1 minute rounds. He was. He'd come out tough, I'll tell you that. He did not want to go down. I think that was right before we got the who was going to win. So he knew that was going to be the make or break on who won. It wasn't a draw. I beat him in the match, but
Yeah. When you were in the Royal Rumble, because when we saw Maven in there, you could definitely see the guys who really sniffing the hell out of him. Did they go out of their way to be rough with you in the Rumble?
Oh yeah, they beat me down, but at the end of the day, hey, you know what? They were about proving a concept rather than building talent.
Mm-hmm.
And so tossing me and doing stuff that I've never done before. Hey, that was their decision. Hardcore Holly gets out, just does his book or whatever, and his book's full of crap. When he starts, I heard he started dating. Also told me he was talking about me in there, and it's interesting how very interesting, because at the end of the day, if like your wife or girlfriend lied to you, you'd be pissed. But athletes and celebrities can get away with lies, and politicians, whatever else, and you're like, oh, it's just them, And so it's just very interesting to be able to see when somebody writes about you personally and says something that's a non-truth. It's very interesting. It ruins what I think of them, and I think Hardcore Holly is a piece based upon he wanted to sell some more books.
Now, what were your thoughts on Bob Holly when you were there, when you were in the company?
I really liked him. He coached me every day. I went out there, I took an ass beating before practices. He pushed me. I mean, he just he had me running ropes, everything, and I thought of him as a coach, and somebody that was helping me get somewhere. But he wants to prove his point, whatever else, and been divorced, lost his money, gained his money, whatever else, whatever he's done. It's just he's going to go down in my book as somebody that's full of crap.
Did they ever have any type of angles or anything for you, or say like, oh, we're going to bring you up and do this or that with you?
Yeah, they talked about different things. One of the things I needed more time I needed time to train, and it was good that I got training time. It was it's completely opposite from MMA fighting, because MMA fighting is just you're trying to beat the other guy, and this is working with the other guy. So it was definitely a learning curve for me. But the best part was when I was in Tough Enough, for instance, the guys would sit, like Justin would sit on the ground after he did a flip or whatever else, and look at Bill DeMont, and Bill would come over and grab his little finger and bend it backwards, past, almost to the point where it'd snap, and he'd be screaming like a little girl. And he did that once to me, and I looked at him and I said, "What, are you going to break it?" And I'm like, I'm here to train. I'm not here to, jack around and complain. I get off my ass. I do what you tell me to, and I work my ass off. So it was very interesting.
No, when you went to MMA after leaving WWE, how long did you stay in MMA?
I started when I was 16, or actually it's end of 16, 17, something like that. I went to I went to 28 was my last fight, and then I wrestled in Japan after that in October, about 3.5 years ago was the last time I actually wrestled.
Mm-hmm. No, why did you leave MMA?
The contracts were being challenged, and I looked at the whole entire world, and I said, I started a charity too. So I said, I'm gonna go back into pro wrestling for a while, and then I launched a charity, and I said, I'm gonna go help, I'm gonna go help kids. I can go entertain people. I can go do movies if I want. I can go do some other stuff, but at the end of the day, I'd really love to give back and give back and change things, you know, and so that's what I've been doing. It's been awesome.
Yeah. What did you think about Brock Lesnar when he was fighting?
Brock's tough, you know. I mean, he's definitely tough. So to be able to see him go into fighting, he didn't like to get hit, you know, from everything I saw. But again, it's not wrestling. It's MMA. It's you know, you're in there for a fight. So I think he gave it a good shot. I've never met him personally, but I've heard good things from him. And Eric Paulson, one of my coaches, was training him, and so one of the guys I've always wanted to meet. So yeah.
Nope. In W. Talk you.
You're breaking up, Jack.
All right.
But anyhow, you know, one of the things that I was wondering, if Kurt Angle had a pet tiger, would you still challenge him and the pet tiger was going to be in the fight? Would you still kick his ass?
Let me tell you, my name's Daniel. So if you look back to the Lions, then Tigers, you know, didn't do much.
Oh, okay.
Well, those were Lions technically, but you know, same thing. So I'm not worried about that. What are you going to do? I mean, you're only on this earth once. You know, you might as well do what you got to do to get to where you want to go, right?
I hear you. You back now, Jack? Oh, man. We've been having trouble with our phones all night, Daniel.
No problem, brother. So how often do you guys do a show? Once a week?
Yeah, once a week, every Wednesday. We come live at 8 and do our thing here. We've been doing it for 9 years now, though.
That's great. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's a good time, good little hobby that we do.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to call in on my cell phone.
Oh, we hear you there now.
All right, well, I'll just stay here. I say, when you left WWE, you said it was your decision, did they try to talk you out of it?
No, not at all. Not at all. You know, I asked a couple guys, and you know, it was pretty. You know, they agreed with me. You know, so and I had a good opportunity to go back to fighting, and I enjoyed both. You know, I love pro wrestling because I love the entertainment aspect of it, and I love MMA fighting because it's the real thing. You know, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, did you have fun wrestling for Ring of Honor? Yeah,
you know, I wish I would have done more with Ring of Honor. You know, I like those guys up there. It was a good deal.
Yeah. No, you know, was there any reason why you didn't? Was it just, you know?
No, it wasn't my call. It was their call. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Now, the guy that I was a big fan of, we had on the show many times, and I used to talk to, you know, off the show, was Larry Sweeney. Was a lot of fun to be around him and to work with him?
Yeah, I mean, Larry, we talked a few times, and real nice guy. I liked ROH, you know. If I could have done more with him, I definitely would have. But I think with this new platform we have, you know, we'll see how it goes this next year and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Now, I asked about you.
Cutting up again, Jack.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't know this whole thing.
I'm going to call in on my cell phone.
We can... Hang on, let's go to break and we'll be right back.
All right, you're back once again, and we're just talking about Larry Sweeney, Ring of Honor, and you know, when you're out of WWE and you were working for Ring of Honor, was there ever a chance for you to go back to the WWE?
Nope, never. You know, I pitched something once, to a couple guys, and that was it. To see what I could do. But they try. It's interesting to be able to see how they. I was about to do a deal with TNA at one point. I was about to do a year contract with TNA, and I just didn't like how the setup was. But I like the TNA guys a lot, and I did the Ring of Honor, and I wish I would have done more with them. But it was fun.
Mhm. You got the promotion coming up now, but this TNA, and then there's also the Jeff Jarrett promotion. Do you know anything about it?
You know what? I don't. What's going on with that?
It's Global Force Wrestling. There's really just the website right now, and he's going around the country and scouting for talent. And there's not too much known about it yet, but it's supposedly gonna start up, and he wants it to be a big promotion.
Well, why isn't what's going on with him in TNA?
He's gone from TNA.
Mm-hmm.
Left TNA,
how long has that been?
He's been gone from there. I don't know, about 6 months maybe.
Yeah, I think
maybe
totally
a year
out.
at most.
Yeah, I think that's about
that's
6 months or so since he's been totally out of it.
Yeah, part of the deal was he can't negotiate with Spike TV to bring his promotion there, but there's rumors that AJ Styles might wrestle for him, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens when it starts. It's always good for the wrestling business to have more promotions.
We have, and that's what's interesting about how we've done our setup. We've done it. When you guys see it, I'd love to show you what we're doing once we launch it, and I'll know a lot more towards the end of next month. But it's going to be pretty cool because it's different than any other model out there, and 100% of the money goes. It's a fundraising platform basically for our charity called My Life My Power. So we can literally go out there and change lives in communities. And do pro wrestling and entertain, people and really, make a difference.
Yeah, that's very cool. Well, we'd love to have you back sometime, and we'll talk about that. That'd be cool once it starts up. We do want to mention though this Saturday.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, this Saturday. It's only a couple days away. Warwick, Rhode Island, New England Pro Wrestling Fan Fest and Hall of Fame. During the day, it's meet and greet, get your autographs, your pictures with everybody, and then at night they show the the Hall of Fame, which they're going to induct a lot of people, which is very cool. And what I like about this one is they're inducting Harley Race and Jimmy Anvil Neidhart, British Bulldog, a lot of big name wrestlers, but they're also inducting guys like Jose Luis Rivera and Mario Mancini and the underneath guys, the hands with talent, the jobbers, whatever you call them. But those guys, really meant a lot to the business, and it's nice that they're also getting some recognition for what they've done in wrestling.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, are you going to be there for the Hall of Fame as well, or just for the Fan Fest part?
Yep, I actually fly in Thursday night, so I'm getting in a little bit early. So if you guys are around, let me know, and let's get a bite to eat and hang out.
All right, sounds cool. Well, thank you for coming on tonight.
Hey, thank you guys. I really appreciate your time. And if you could send me your info, and I'll keep you updated with what we got going on.
All right, will do, definitely.
Okay.
Cool. That sounds good. I'll see you guys this weekend.
All right.
Okay, we're off.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have an email or something? I'll.
All right. What kind of a promo do you want?
Just tell people to tune in to InYourHeadOnline.com. Anything that pops into mind.
Anything that pops into my mind.
Right. You can trash us. You can bury us.
In your head. All right. 1 inch and
Jack and Barbie.
Jack. Yeah. All right, all you wrestling fans out there, tune in to Jack and the 1 inch. Let me start this thing again. Can I do this over again?
Sure.
I
yeah.
Do it all at
you
once.
can.
Are we on the air right now? Are we on the air?
Yeah, we're on the air, but we'll just...
We're on the air? Well, I'm starting again anyhow for all of you nut too. Hey, all you perverts, punks, idiots, and fools, tune in to this radio station. What the hell are we promoting now?
InYourHeadOnline.com.
Oh, in your head, right?
Right.
InYourHead.com, right?
InYourHeadOnline.com.
InYourHeadOnline. I'm going to get it right this time. Hey, you've got the funker here, all you idiots, fools, and perverts. Tune in to InYourHead.com. How was that? That wasn't too good.
That was all right. You missed InYourHeadOnline.com. Someone already owns In Your Head.
InYourHeadOnline.com.
Right.
All right, let me try that again.
All
right, here we go one more time. InYourHeadOnline.com with the one-incher and Jack. All you idiots, punks, perverts, and fools, be sure and tune in and listen to this show. Damn, that was a hell of a promo.
That was great. And
that was much better than Dusty Rhodes could ever dream of doing.
And you covered all our fans.
Fat ass.
You knew our fan base perfect.
Well, I bet I did.